A couple of things, too, while we're waiting for them to join us. BC, the team is here. The locker room will be open for the duration of their press conference here. Denver is then going to speak at 1, and we'll have that State of the Game press conference at 1:30 with Jeff Schulman, Steve Metcalf, Eric Martinson, and Scott Sandelin joining us up here just to talk about a variety of topics that will be of note. Yes, yeah. So we'll have a transcription and a recording for the State of the Game as well. That'll all be up in the digital press box. You guys? Me again. You're stuck with me still. I can see official come if you want, but that might not be any better. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it is now. It's exactly 12 o'clock. So the BC locker room is open. So if anybody wants to head there, you can go ahead. We will start off, as always, with an opening statement from Coach. We'll take questions for the players and then come back to Coach. So we'll start off. I know, Coach, you gave us an opening statement yesterday. We'll ask you for one more here today.
Really? We're very happy to be here. It's not an easy road. There's so many quality hockey teams in college hockey, so to be one of the 2 teams left standing at the end is a great compliment to these guys and how much work they've put in, the effort for the entire season, all summer. They do so many things, and they do it willingly and without knowing if they'll be rewarded with the opportunity to play in this game. So we're very happy that they have that opportunity, and can't wait for tomorrow.
And have you found the surprise in the locker room yet?
Still looking.
Still looking. All right, questions for the players, just raise your hands. We'll get you the microphone, and we'll start right up front. Just please identify yourself before asking a question.
Luke Evans with the Heights. Gabe and Will, you guys committed to BC with Ryan. You guys are 1 game away from completing the vision you guys set out. We've talked about you guys all year. How does it feel to be 1 game away from completing that vision?
Gabe, why don't you start there?
Yeah, I think it's kind of what we dreamed of coming in. That was the goal coming in. We knew we were going to have a good team, but I didn't know how long it was going to take. But obviously we had a pretty good season so far, and like you said, super excited for tomorrow.
Will?
I mean, Gabe said it. That was our goal coming in here. I mean, to win, and we have a shot at it. So I think now that we have the opportunity, we're gonna, give our best shot at it.
Chris?
Chris Lurch, U.S. College Hockey Online. This is for any of the players. What were your impressions of Denver when you saw them in October, and what did you learn from that?
Anyone want to take that one first?
Yeah, I think it was the 3rd game of the year. They play a fast transition game. They're a skilled team, just like us, I feel like. It should be a great test to see how far we've kind of come as a team since the start of the year. Like I said, they got a lot of skill. They can make you pay in the power play. So it should be a great test, and we're really looking forward to it.
Gabe, same question.
Yeah, I think he handled it pretty well, but obviously they're the team that scored the most goals in college hockey this season. So we know they got pretty good offense, but also some good defense. So it's going to be a really good battle.
Ryan.
Ryan Kennedy with the Hockey News. A question for Gabe and Will. I know you've been asked a million times about the chemistry going back to the NCDP, but I'm kind of curious what those first games together were like when maybe you were still developing chemistry. Like, how did that process happen, and how quick was it?
Yeah, Will.
Yeah, I think at the national team, we obviously your first year you're kind of jumbling lines, and it's more about development. So, I mean, we would be together 1 game, and then another we would be completely separated. So, I think our 18 years when it kind of really started to gel, and that's when we kind of were solidified as a line. So, from there we kind of just ran with it, and we haven't really been separated since.
Gabe.
Yeah, I think you said it well. We clicked together pretty well, pretty quick. So I think that was the thing. And then played quite a bit of college games last year and the U18 year, so that kind of made the transition easier for this year as well.
Anything else for the players? Yep.
Maury Hirsch, Gordon, Channel 7 in Boston for Will. You know, you guys outlast Michigan Tech. You come from behind against Quinnipiac, and then, you know, you blank Michigan. 3 different types of wins. How will those experiences pay off for tomorrow night?
I mean, we've said it all year that, I mean, we can win any type of game. That's what we kind of take pride in. I mean, if you want to play a 1-0 game or high-score game, we'll be there. So I think we knew coming in this tournament it was going to be a battle. We didn't know what we were going to get from each team, and I mean, we got one more to go. So we know Denver's obviously a very high offensive team, and I mean, we're ready for anything.
Yeah, Jess?
Jess Myers from the Rink Live. For any of the players, you know, not a lot to do between now and 5 o'clock tomorrow, but how excited are you for Cutter, you know, just the year he's had to be the one of the Hobie hat trick?
Name?
Yeah, obviously we're very excited for him. He deserves all the accolades he's gotten this year. You know, I think it's 38 goals this year is absolutely crazy. And he's been awesome. His mindset going into this year, it was never about just him or his personal goals, but it was always about the team and helping the team win. And I think that's what all the teammates kind of look up to him for. He's a big voice in the locker room for how special of a player he is, but he's a great teammate as well. So everyone will be rooting him on and just very excited for him because he deserves it.
Anything additional for the players? All right, guys, thank you. Head back to the locker room. Appreciate it. Questions for Coach Brown? We'll go to Matt. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Matt Porter, Boston Globe.
Hey, Matt.
So you get a line that's basically formed, but I mean, barring injury, was there ever a point in the season where you looked at your lineup and said, maybe if we split them up, you know, maybe we get some benefit that I wasn't thinking of? Let's try it.
It happened in game a few times, but their chemistry and the way they read each other makes when they're together, they're kind of bigger than the sum of the parts. It's yeah, they just have a real feel for each other and where they're going to be. We didn't put them together the first 2 weeks of practice in September. We tried a whole bunch of different combinations, and then one day we did throw them together, and it was like, oh. So, yeah, you don't know one, how quickly they'll adjust to college hockey, and 2, can 3 18-year-old freshmen handle it, especially defensively. We knew they could generate offense, but defensively we weren't sure if they could handle it against bigger, stronger, older guys. But again, the way they read each other offensively, they also have that same feel defensively. It may not look like textbook defense, but they understand what each other's thinking and doing, so they cover for each other in maybe a not traditional way, but they do a great job without the puck as well. Yeah, it wasn't immediate, but I would say probably between games 5 and 10, you saw they really had a feel and they were being responsible, and one, they weren't getting scored on or even giving up a ton of chances, which was going to be our biggest fear. We knew they would do stuff at the offensive end, but you didn't know if it was going to end up, you know, they'd score 3 and give up the other team 4, which would be no recipe for us, but it wasn't like that. Consistently, there were more chances for than against every game, so we knew we could rely on them, and they've become more and more reliable as the season's gone on.
Jimmy?
Thank you. Jim Conley from U.S. College Hockey Online. Greg, you played these guys, I guess 2 parts. You played these guys in October. Does you have to throw that tape out, or are there things you can learn? And then watching them now in the way that they've played defensively in the last few games, that seems to be their biggest improvement or strength. How do you counter that as you watch them on tape here?
Yeah. They're hard to open up. They really play well as a team defensively. You know, they seem like, watching last night, they're moving as a group of 5 all over the ice. There's not a lot of free space. They're not spread out. They do a great job of getting numbers around the puck. So we know we're going to have to play with a lot of pace, and we're going to have to change sides and try and open up some free ice, because they do a great job, like I said, of taking that away quickly. The game in October was an exciting, great hockey game. And Dave and I talked this morning about, we said, well, if we can both have good seasons, maybe we'll see each other again. So it's kind of exciting that that happened.
Ryan.
Hey, Ryan Kennedy from the Hockey News. You have a couple of players on your roster that came from the transfer portal, but not too many. I'm curious, just sort of your recruiting, coaching philosophy on the portal.
Yeah, it's still growing. It's new. We have 3 grad transfers, which is a little different. You know, that will dry up a lot after next year with the COVID years ending. But the normal transfer portal seems to be growing each season. So, yeah, we're going to have to discuss, you know, do you save scholarships for that and stuff? Because right now we haven't, you know, we've been filling up our team more in the traditional way and then adding some grad transfers. But you can see there's been some high-profile transfers this year, and I suspect that'll be pretty consistent in the years going forward. So it's something all teams have to consider. You know, college hockey, I think right now, with the grads and the extra year, is as deep as it's ever been that I've seen. Just our team adding those 3 grad guys is a totally different team than if you had 3 more freshmen. You know, they have such experience and are so reliable, and I think you see that around the whole country. So with the transfer portal, you can change the outlook of your team very quickly, and that's something you have to be aware of, or you'll be left behind.
More.
Gordon, Channel 7 in Boston again. Greg, talent aside, how have you created a culture this year that has allowed the freshmen to make an impact from day one?
Yeah, all the credit goes to the older guys on the team. They're the ones that bring the freshmen in and make them feel welcome and make them feel comfortable, excited to be in the locker room and to play. You know, some old school teams, you know, the freshmen had to earn their stripes, and they, you know, not hazing, but just they had to break their way into the locker room, and if they're uncomfortable walking in and they don't want to ruffle any feathers, then they're probably not going to play their best. So I give our older guys a ton of credit for bringing them in, incorporating them right away, and letting them be excited to go out and perform like they have.
Jess Myers from the Rink Live. Same as I asked those guys, you know, flip a coin over who's going to actually take the Hobie home this afternoon. But just what has Cutter meant to your team, and for you as a second-year head coach to have a hat trick finalist? What does that mean?
Well, he's obviously been huge for our team. The thing I was excited about this year, like last year, Cutter was outstanding, but it was mostly in an offensive form. You know, he scored and created points. This year, he's a complete player. He penalty kills this year. He plays against the other team's top line many nights. He's, you know, taking big face-offs at critical time, defensive face-offs at critical time. So he's expanded his game to be an asset every time we put him out in whatever role we put him out in. So he's very deserving to be a Hobie finalist. We hope he wins. Clearly, the 38 goals is so impressive, but to be able to score like that and do those other jobs to help us win games too has been enormous for us.
Jimmy?
Thank you, Jim Conley again from Euros College Hockey Online. I've seen Jerry York walking around St. Paul this weekend. How much have you spoken to him, and what type of advice has he given to you, maybe just throughout the entire tournament?
We had dinner Tuesday night when we got here with the team. He came. You know, he's always so supportive and will shoot encouraging texts or calls or whatever. But as far as advice, you know, he's been an open book the whole 2 years, so it's not new. It's not like he's jumping back in as we get to the tournament. But spending 14 years and having the opportunity to be at these Frozen Fours several times with him, I picked up a lot. So.
Any one thing stand out that you said week or anything?
Oh God.
Must have said something.
I mean, specifically this week? No, I mean, no, it's all the normal stuff, but
Anything that stands out in general?
in general, he's always been a, when we went before, when he was the head coach, it was so important to stay true to our identity and be our best version of ourselves rather than trying to recreate your game depending on your opponent.
Anything else for Coach? All right, Coach, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Congratulations. So just a quick note, too, while we're waiting on the names for Denver. Denver elected not to practice, so they will not have an open locker room because the team won't be here. The only players that are coming will be the players that are up here. Once I get those names, I'll confirm them and let you know. Ron has said that the players will be other players will be available, but it won't be an open locker room. You can go through Ron to request specific players that won't be at the press conference. And I will confirm the players at the press conference as soon as Ron confirms those for me. Phil's right behind you. All right, guys, we're about 5 minutes away from the start of Denver's press conference. Just about 5 minutes. We're waiting for them to come along. So just a reminder, immediately following the Denver press conference at 1:30, we will have the State of the Game press conference with members of different committees. That'll be right after the Denver press conference at 1:30. We're about 5 minutes away from Denver starting. All right, guys, Denver is joining us now, so if you want to head on over, we'll get started in just a minute here. A little bit early, which is always good. So as we give another minute for people to get settled here, Coach, we'll start off with you. Just an opening statement looking ahead to tomorrow.
Yeah, obviously, exciting day tomorrow. Another great team that we have the opportunity to play, and I think it'll be great for college hockey fans, and certainly looking forward to the opportunity for our players and for our program, all our fans and alumni and supporters.
All right, as always, we'll start off by taking questions for the student athletes, so just raise your hands and we'll get you a mic, and then we'll dismiss them and turn to questions for Coach. Yeah, so we'll start up front and then we'll go to Randy.
Corey Masizak from the Denver Post. Peter, you're a Colorado guy.
Yes, sir.
How much did you know about sort of the history of the program, and now that you've been here, like this idea of like trying to win a 10th championship?
So I grew up going to, like, my family, we had season tickets to all the games since I was like 5 years old. So the U's been a big part of my life, like growing up watching, seeing 3 national championships and since 2005, 17, 22. So it's been pretty special.
Randy?
Randy Johnson, Minneapolis Star Tribune. This is for any of the players. You beat Boston College 4-3 out there early in the season. What do you take away from that game?
Alex, why don't you start with that one?
Want me to start? Okay. Well, they're a really good team. Obviously, that Smith Pro line, they're really dangerous. But I think the way we play and the dimensions to our game, I think we're going to be able to, have a strong counter to them and really enforce our game on them. And I think we did a really good job early in the year sticking to that game, and I have confidence that we're going to do that tomorrow as well.
Peter, same question?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just stick to our plan like we did in the beginning of the year and just out-muscle them, play physical, and I think we can take it to them again.
Go right there.
Aaron Anderson, Fox 31, Denver. This is for any of the players. How beneficial was a day off for you today based on what you went through last night, that thrilling victory?
Yeah, I think it was like really beneficial, but especially because we've had 2 weekends ago, same thing in Springfield for our regional. So I think it kind of gives us a little bit to play off of and a lot to draw from as far as where we were 2 weeks ago and how we played out that day and what our preparation looked like from the day off and then going into tomorrow.
Alex, how's that day off look for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did this, 2 weeks ago, so we are prepared for it, and I think the day off is going to be really beneficial for a bunch of the guys and get them, ready to go and fire on all cylinders tomorrow, so it'll be really good.
We'll go to Mick.
Mick Haddon from the Rink Live. Jack, the goaltenders obviously spend a lot of time together and get to know each other maybe better than maybe even other guys on the team. Tell us a little bit about what Matt Davis is like, and what his personality is like, maybe a little bit on and off the ice.
Yeah, he's. I like to say he's a pretty normal goalie. He's easygoing. He's fun to be around, and obviously all the guys rally around him, and love having him back there as our goalie. I think as far as the goalies are concerned, like it's kind of like a quarterback room in football. Like it's a tight-knit room. We have everybody kind of supporting each other. It's been like that all year long, and we kind of we understand at this point, like he's in a groove. He's doing his thing, and he's been handling it really well. So for us, we're just doing anything we can to support and kind of have him be in a good space.
Anything additional for the players? Yeah, up front.
Mark Kislett, Denver Gazette. Peter, first weekend in February, I think you lost the game 7-2, and you had gone through a couple tough weekends. Coach came out after the game and said, "We need to look ourselves in the mirror." What did you see as a team when you looked yourself in the mirror?
I mean, I think we just realized that we're better than this, and you have a couple bad weekends, you can always bounce back like we did, and we know our group and we know how we play, and we just had to figure it out and stuck to it.
Back.
We've heard from some of the Eagles that this was a matchup they were looking forward to. When you hear that, do you think game on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we've been looking for it, too. We've circled it on our calendar. We've been looking for them again, knock the 1 seed off, and take home the national championship.
Yeah, I would say similar to that. I think through this journey, through this road that we've been on, it's been pretty fun to every single team we've met along the way. It's kind of been another challenge. So for us, it's just another challenge for us, and I think that for us, we're looking forward to it, and we're embracing the fact that a lot of people have been talking about what a great group they have, and for us, we're just looking forward to that challenge of being able to beat them.
We'll do one more for the players if it's there. All right, guys, thank you. Appreciate it. And head back to the locker room. We'll take questions for Coach now. Just throw your hands up. We'll start with Jimmy right up front.
Joe Bell. Thank you, Jim Connolly from U.S. College Hockey Online. David, I looked at your numbers in the last month, basically playoff time, and your goals against are just down so significantly. How much was the commitment to team defense when you started this postseason, and how is that something that you felt continually improved all season?
Yeah, I think so. We kind of gave the first half of the season a snapshot to the guys where we were at. I think we're number one. We've been the number one offense for the majority of the season, but I think at that time we were 40th in goals against per game, and we just showed them data. The last 10 champions, I think the lowest goals against per game was 10 or 11. I believe that was us in 22, but everyone else has been, in the top 5. And so it was just, it's time to stop messing around with this. We need to get better at it. And I think our guys have. I don't know what the exact numbers are where we're at today, but it's certainly been excellent. Once we've hit the national tournament here, and our level of desperation and urgency to defend properly has been there, and there's no doubt that's been a huge part of our success. I don't think we had a win all year with scoring 2 or less goals, and so to have 3 straight games of 2 or less goals and to be 3-0 in them in the tournament, I think goes to show the commitment that the players have. And again, that starts with our leadership group. They've done a great job, and Matty Davis's game has rounded into its best form, and he's peaking at the right time as well. But it is as we've talked all year, our defense is a team issue, and I think there's been a high level of commitment to it the last 2 months.
Go right up front.
So you haven't
Just
you-
identify
Oh yeah,
yourself, please.
Corey Massac, Denver Post. Sorry, you haven't used the transfer portal a lot. I think just a couple of guys in the last couple of years, but one of them, scored the game-winning goal yesterday. So just with Tristan, why him? Why Tristan? And just what was that process like?
Yeah, I think rewinding back to 22, we even 21, we had a large senior class. We chose to bring Ryan Barrow back. And then we had a real large and accomplished freshman class waiting to come. Those are all of our juniors now. Mazer was a part of that group as well. We obviously won in 22, and we felt like instead of bringing in a real large freshman class, we tried to extend our window a little bit. So instead of having 7 freshmen forwards, we brought in Dornbach and Bros. Why did we bring them in, and specifically Tristan? He had a rough freshman year at Minnesota for a variety of reasons, and he was a player that we really liked in Fargo. Recruited a little bit when he chose the Gophers and felt like we had a connection with, and just thought change of scenery and an opportunity to add a veteran player in addition to Casey Dornbach to the lineup would be a really good thing for us. And unfortunately, last year didn't go as we had planned, and this year we chose to bring in 11 freshmen, grow with them similar to our 19 season, and try and push the limit to see how high we could get our ceiling. And our group's done an excellent job of reaching their potential. So that's a little bit of the window into the decision-making process around Tristan and the portal for us.
Set a record for questions asked by Ryans now. So Ryan.
Ryan Zook, MLive.com. Can you kind of detail Shai's development from during his time at Denver and where he's made the most strides?
Yeah, I think Shai, certainly it's growing his 200-foot game, having a commitment to the defensive side of things. A similar evolution to Mike Benning that he had, came in, real good offensive player, great offensive mind and brain, but always, I would say after his freshman year, like, how do I play more? How do I get more minutes? And it's about earning and gaining not really my trust, but his teammates' trust to play in big situations, big moments, on the kill, up a goal, in those last-minute type situations, play against other teams' top 6. And, Shai's made that commitment to, again, himself and to his teammates that he wanted to be in those moments. And, he's done a really nice job just evolving his defensive game, his puck pressure, his ability to separate people in corners, defend hard at the net front. There's only so many, power play quarterbacks in the NHL. There's 32, and so you've got to find a niche and a role in other ways, and you have to be a 200-foot player on both, whether you're a forward or a defenseman, to be able to carve out minutes at the next level. So I think Shai has learned that, grown in that, accepted that, and is really doing a nice job.
Ryan Lambert from Elite Prospects. You mentioned that Matt Davis is really peaking at the right time. What specifically is he doing well now that he wasn't even a month ago?
His confidence and poise and reading plays. I think he's more patient, on his feet, more pucks are sticking to him, just his ability to track pucks into his body. That's what I see on the bench, just a calmness to him.
Ryan.
Ryan Kennedy with the Hockey News. Zeev Buium obviously has had a tremendous freshman season for you. What does he do to enable him to have that success at such a young age in college hockey?
I think it starts probably with his mindset. Very competitive person, wants to be on the ice in big moments, wants to impact the game, has an ability to play the game that's in front of him, which I think is really impressive. I mean, he can be a part of opening a game up, but he can also be a part of shutting plays down and playing in these 2-1 games. He doesn't look uncomfortable in our NCAA tournament games. He didn't look uncomfortable at the World Juniors not being on the power play. to me, it's hard to find a more impactful player, shift in, shift out, game in, game out, that's available in the draft.
Scotty Gange, 9 News. Coach, it's kind of been the theme of the last week, the chance for 10, one step closer to honor the legacy of this program and get that double-digit titles. How special is that opportunity for you?
Yeah, it's it's why people come to Denver, want to win championships, and it's a lot of what we talk about in recruiting. And I was asked why our guys seem so comfortable in these moments, and I think when we're recruiting players, we talk pretty openly about what our goals and aspirations are every year. And I get that we're not the only program that does that, so it's not to say that we're better than anyone else for how we approach this, but we speak really openly and honestly about our desires to win championships, to be team first, to be selfless, and to have an opportunity to make history. And a lot of these players that are on our team were recruited with that mindset. There's only 8 players on our team that were a part of the 22 championship team. So there's 19 guys that heard you're coming here to try and win a 10th championship. Does that excite you? Yes, and then they come. So I think it creates a good vibe amongst the guys and in what we're trying to accomplish for our school and in our program and all of our great alumni and the people that came before us.
We'll go over on the right, and then we'll go back to Jess. You have another one? So we'll go Jess and then Adam.
Aaron Anderson, Fox 31. Along those lines, Coach, you've talked about 10. Your players are talking about number 10. Is there a fine line between getting a team focused on Boston College while also being mindful of what historically is at stake tomorrow night?
For sure. I mean, we'll be very focused on Boston College, and they have our full attention. So they have had it for a while. We obviously played them earlier. We've seen what they've done. They've really gone wire to wire as the number 1 team in the country from December on. They haven't really looked back or taken their foot off the gas. So it's been very impressive what they've done, and there's no doubt that as much as we want to talk about 10, I mean, we have to go out and execute at a very high level against a team, not just a bunch of individuals, a team that plays great together and has really been a dominant force since December on.
Jess Myers from the Rink Live. David, a couple of great players up for the Hobie later this afternoon. I won't ask you the secret to shutting down Gauthier, but you just played Macklin Celebrini. What were your thoughts on him going into the game, and what did you see from him that 17 years old that's allowed him to be one of potentially the top 3 players in the country?
Yeah, he was an excellent player. Had some looks. Maddie made some saves. I thought we were pretty good with him off the rush. I thought he finds open ice, pucks find him in the offensive zone really well, and got a really bright future in front of him.
Adam.
Coach Adam Oden, College Hockey News. I'm here to ask the tough questions. As the defense has improved, obviously, the offensive numbers have also gone down, and to some extent that's normal. It goes hand in hand, but is there anything about the offense that maybe isn't clicking as well as it was before that you like to see? I mean, you got one game left.
Yeah, I think we've gotten better defensively throughout the second half, and we've been able to generally maintain our ability to put the puck in the back of the net, even without Rizzo and King in the lineup. So I do think that the goal scoring is more of an anomaly the last 3 games, and remembering who we're playing. These are the best teams in the country. I think we've all seen the tightness of the games, how many overtime games there were in the regional round. I saw a tweet that every champion has had to play an overtime game since 2017 on their way to the title. So this tournament it's a really hard thing to get to this stage. It's hard to win, and we're playing real good teams, good goalies. I mean, the 2 saves Caron makes on Devine and Thompson last night, and our guy made big saves too. That game easily could have been 4-3. The goaltenders, I think, are dialed. Teams are more committed to playing defense now than at any other time of year. So I think it's harder and harder just to generate offense.
Up front to Mark, and then we'll take one more if it's there.
Mark Hislop, Denver Gazette. Way back when you were working on Guaz's staff, did he give you encouragement that you could be good at doing this? And did he give you any, I don't know, warning that to make sure you knew what you were getting into in this crazy business?
Yeah, I mean, I think he gave encouragement through opportunity and the trust and belief that he had in myself. And, you know, George was great about that. He trusted people to do their jobs. You know, Steve Miller ran the recruiting front, and he never questioned Steve on players he wanted to bring to Denver, why he wanted to bring them. It was a full trust, and I think he, you know, I was fortunate enough that he gave me that same level of trust and respect, and something that certainly I try and replicate with my staff. And I think to answer the second part of your question, what I'm getting into, not really. I think probably saw that on April 1st, 2013, when he moved on and was let go. I think you saw the realities of the business, and I think you're seeing that more and more, obviously, at the NHL level. NHL coaches are fired at a much higher rate than the other three major sports. I think you're seeing more turnover with college hockey coaches as expectations and money pours into the sport at different rates than it has in the last 20 years. So I think we all know what we're signing up for and are very aware of the realities. But, you know, Steve Miller did an article, I think, with the USCHO a few weeks ago, and I think he's bang on. The college hockey changed on April 1st, 2013, when George was let go, and the expectations and the standards around winning really took things front and center. So from that, obviously learned very quickly that none of us are, that we're all replaceable, none of us are invincible.
Last question to Mick.
Mick Hatton from the Rink Live. David, obviously you saw BC earlier. When you look statistically at these teams, they're extremely similar. I mean, does it feel almost like you're playing a mirror image of yourselves a little bit here tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think that game back in October was probably the most exciting game that we've been a part of, just back and forth. You know, it was good defense, it was good offense. Shots were 28-27. You know, we had some power plays in the third. They had 2 power plays. It was a back and forth affair. We had to come from behind in the third. The crowd was unbelievable. Sold out Connie Forum. They did. All the students were wearing black T-shirts. It was just great energy and emotion out of both teams, and so I would expect very similar here on Saturday night, with obviously much more on the line. And Greg and I actually, after the game, we said, you know, we both said hope to see you in St. Paul, and it's fortuitous that we both found our way here, and I think it's 2 best teams in the country, and that's what I think everybody here wants. That's what the fans want, and it's going to be a great hockey game tomorrow night.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good luck
Thank you.
tomorrow. So just, again, a reminder, if you have questions for other players, connect with Ron. And at 1:30, which is in about 11 minutes, we'll have the State of the Game press conference here.